To open up the Virtual Studio, I just went through the process of the normal process of going File, Open Project. When you go Open Project, I'm not going to do it. When you go to Open Project, you find the project and open it up. Now it was created so that it would run on CS6, so you know that. It might even be earlier than CS6, but certainly CS6. And then so it'll say something like, this is created with an earlier version of After Effects. You need to make a new version, which is fine. Just click OK, and it'll open up. Now the way it's divided up is the various different kinds of shots. This is a demo. This is an example of how you might put together a scene. And notice that it zooms in, which is really cool that it zooms in on the talent and the scene. And these various transitions here, there's 3 different kinds of transitions. That's transition number 1, the globe going through like that. This is transition number 2, similar globe going by. And this is, I think, transition number 3, again using the globe as a transition device, but this time it's got a harder edge to it. You have these different sets, and this is just basically saying here's how you might want to do your production studio as an example. But I want to show you what comes with it. There are something called the screenshots. Open that up. You can see in the corner there, standing in front of a screen, a shoulder shot, it's called, where it's basically centered up with a screen behind them. It's called shoulder shot 2, where you had set up for 2 people instead of 1. If you can barely see it in the corner there. A desk shot, where you are sitting at a desk. I guess that's the impression that you get by looking at it. So you're sitting at a news desk there. And a full body shot. And notice it says 01 and 02. The normal template would come with just something that says 01. But but if you want to have multiple versions of a scene, so let's say you do the desk shot, and then you go to something else and come back to the other desk shot, you probably want to have that be a second version of the desk shot. So all you need to do is just duplicate it here inside the project panel. So this full body scene is just duplicated. It's the same thing twice. So the full body scene looks like that, in the corner is like this guy right there. And so and then you can have all these various lower thirds. There are 3 lower thirds. You can sort of see let me double click on that. Lower third looks like that. And it animates on and animates off. Okay, so those are 3 lower thirds, all very cool. And then all the colors that you see are controlled by a controller. So if I go to logo motion and go up to here, there's a thing called the logo motion color changer. If I double click on that, and it's just a frame, so I put my current time indicator here, and it shows you what you're going to see. All the colors are under a color scheme. Probably shift / so you can see everything. This is the color scheme, and so if you want to change the color scheme, all you need to do is click on color control, go to effects color, and click on this little color swatch there and change to some other color, and it will change on the fly. You can see your work as you work on it up there and see if you like that color or not, and all the various schemes there. So you can change all these colors on the fly like that for the whole kit and caboodle. And let me see. So let's just see. Let me show you how to insert then a green screen graphic, a green screen shot into this scene. So I'm going to go to the screenshot, which is this one there, standing in front of the screen. Double click on that to open it up. And I'll put my current time indicator so you can see it. Shift / you get a full screen. And this screen animates on. So it starts off screen and then comes on like that, animates on, and then an image appears inside it. And the image that appears inside it is something you insert on a separate comp. So what you do here is you're going to talk about putting your presenter here instead of this. Actually, this is just an image, just a PNG file there. So you want to replace this guy with your guy. So I'm going to go over and get my stuff that I just did moments ago. Green screen 1. I'm going to replace this guy. Now I can just delete it, turn him off, or replace it. To replace something inside a comp like this in a layer, you make that layer active, and then drag down what you want to replace it with to it. Hold on the Alt or the Option key, and you'll see that you now can click on top of it, and that will replace it with whatever you put there. All right, that's moi, and it's already adjusted such that whatever position properties or scale properties that you had there are applied to the thing that you just replaced. And so the position property was such that it was off to the left like that. And then I'll just fit in to the scene. And you can see how long I am, which is only 6 seconds long relative to the length of this entire comp, which is about an hour. So each comp is generally an hour in length. This one's 20 minutes, but some of them are an hour long. And so you just, obviously you shorten it up to your purposes. So there I am in front of that screen. And as far as what's in the screen is concerned, and by the way I can change the, how large I am or whatever by pressing S for scale, and I can decide whether I want to be closer to the camera or not so close. If I go too far, then it cuts off the bottom of my body. We don't want to do that, but that's kind of the process, right? Now obviously I can move it around as well, slide it left or right, what have you. All right. As far as what's in the screen is concerned, let's see, the video container for the screen is over here. And these are 3 videos that are just put there. You can put any videos you want there. You can put anything else too. There's some graphics that come in here. You saw the graphic where that's somebody's face and some quote. You can put that in the screen. Anything you want in the screen. And whatever you put there, if I'm going to, let's say, take a look at the second clip here. The second clip is this traffic. If I just slide it to the left there instead, replace basically covering up what was there before. When I go back to the screenshot, it'll be the thing that shows up in the screen once the screen lowers down. There you go, there's the traffic shot there. So whatever you want to put there, you can put there. Doesn't have to be video, it can be a graphic, still image, what have you. All right, let's move over to the, let's see the order I wanted to do this in. I go to the shoulder shot, so I'm going to close this one down. Close this down because it's going to get kind of crowded pretty soon here if I don't get careful. Go to the shoulder shot here, double click on that, and this is the shoulder shot 2. So right now it's just the same image, presenter right, presenter left. So if you have 2 videos that you've done green screens on, you can put them side by side, or if you have one video that has 2 people in it, you can put that there. So I'm going to go get the video that has 2 people, and in this case, instead of replacing them both, I'm just going to turn them both off and drag down this other one on top of that. There you go, and they are now parked in front of that background. And then what are we going to put in the background? There's a thing called the container down here. Double click on that, and this says, where do you want to put here? You can put any video you want here. Now they've got some videos that come with this, so let me try to track those guys down. They are footages. Oops, that's not the one I want. Where are they? Sorry, and there's some stuff that was provided with this that I can't track down immediately, so I'm going to go get them by going to my desktop, going to the studio, going over here, going to the bonus, going to the stock videos, and I'm going to go. I don't know where these guys are located. I could find them, but I'm just going to go get this one instead. There you go. Rather than try to track it down. And I just put the video here, I put it right on top of that text layer, replacing it, or basically covering it up, back to the shoulder shot, and it'll show up behind them like that. And if you are thinking, if I zoom out, if I zoom in a bit, see a little better. This one already has some kind of focus issues applied to it, such that this is in focus and that's out of focus, which is great. If you want the whole thing to be out of focus so that they're more clearly defined, all you need to do is apply, let's say, a blur to this. So I'm typing blur over here in the effects and presets. I'm going to go get the Gaussian blur, which is kind of the default blur for things like this. Apply it to this and blur it up a little bit more so that they're a little more prominently displayed in front of this background. And I repeat, so something like that. You can always blur the background if you want to make your actors in front a little bit more prominent, just as a tip. All right, I want to do the set, because the set is pretty interesting because it has a zoom feature built in. So I'll go get the set, which is the full body shot. I'll get, and notice it has 1 and 2, but that's just a duplicate, so I double click on the first one. And it has these other things here. I don't need to have all these various things showing up here, so I right click and say hide this, right click and hide this. I can move this to the left a little bit so you have more real estate. And I'll do shift / to see this thing in a wider view. So there's the presenter. Again, it's just a still image. I want to replace the presenter. Now notice you can't see his feet. It would be tricky to have a full body shot where you could see his feet because it's hard to attach the feet to the floor here. You can create a drop shadow, a simple, soft kind of drop shadow, but the floor is set up to have a reflection on it like that, and it's just a little extra trick to make the actor, the presenter, have a little bit of a reflection on the floor too, and that is like more than you'd probably ever want to do with the template. So if you have an actor in a scene like this, you don't want to be able to see their feet because it's just way too hard to create the reflection. Just so you know, you could do it, and I'll show you with this particular guy. I'll go to scale here and scale him down. Looks like his feet are going away, but they'll appear in a second here. And if you see him there like that, for example, I'll scale him up again so he's more prominent. It's hard to do the reflection. You can have a little bit of reflection coming forward, but it's tricky. If you want to take this little root here, you can create at least something resembling a shadow, and the way you do that is by just right-clicking here and adding a new solid layer, making it black or dark gray, just to make it a little bit easier to work with. Click OK, and that'll cover everything up. You want to put that below your presenter, so it's on top of it. And then just carve out with the pen tool, click the pen tool, and carve out a little area here, or use the shape tool to do it. I'll use the ellipse here just to make it easier. Just carve a little shape here, like that. And then once you do that, you can position it by double-clicking on it and move it around a little bit. And once you create this little guy, then you can adjust the opacity on it. I'm going to go to the mask. You can make it feathered a lot, like that. So it's just a soft shadow like that, and adjust the size of it. You can expand the size you want and adjust the edges as well, something like that. But it's not going to look super realistic, and it won't be a reflection. So it's hard to really attach somebody to the floor, just so you know. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that drop shadow. And now I want to go get me standing in front of there just to show you how that works. So I get the green screen one, drag it down here. I'll put it on top of the presenter. And, oops, wrong one. I want to get not the video file, but the comp. There we go. All right, there we go. And you can sort of take how I fit relative to him, but we moved him around. I'll just turn off the presenter here. And I can see that's probably the right way to position me. I can position me left or right, depending on what kind of graphic we got running in the background there. So that's how that works. And what's cool about this is that you'll notice is the thing that says Start Zoom down here. So in other words, this thing will move along like this, and then it'll actually zoom in on me and on the scene. You can sort of see it happening there. It doesn't zoom much. It just zooms from 93% or so to 100%. But what's really cool is that you can adjust that. So I'm going to do the zoom control here, open it up. You see that I'll just click on E. See, click on, there's a scale here that has an expression tied to it. And the expression is tied also to these keyframes here. So this first keyframe, if you go to it, it'll say it's 92%, and the second keyframe says it's 100. And the timing of these little keyframes is not critical, it's just the amount that's critical. And you can't lower the amount to less than 92 because you'll see the edges of the screen. But if you go to the second keyframe, if you navigate to the second keyframe, you can increase that value to above whatever that value is. So I'm going to go to where the keyframe, I'll just click on this keyframe here. I'm going to increase the value of the keyframe to something like 110 or so. And so let me get rid of this guy. Let me just undo that. Go to that keyframe again, increase that to about 110. And that will override the preset from 92 to 100, and it'll zoom in more. Zoom in much farther. And what's cool is it zooms in both the presenter and the video. Now you notice it didn't zoom in on me because I didn't replace the presenter with me. So I'm going to take my image off there. and make sure I replace the presenter with me. That way it picks up the keyframes in the presenter. So I drag that down to the presenter, hold on the Alt Option key, and now it'll zoom me, oops, there you go. Now it'll zoom both me, and I need to position myself better obviously. Hang on a second. And scale it up a bit more. And let's say that's better. So now as it zooms in, it'll zoom in on me and the background, which is really cool. So obviously you want to set it up such that you have this ending point be set up in advance so you don't zoom off my head like that. But you can adjust the value of the zoom. Okay, I want to show you a couple more things here. So that's the basic process, and you can, if you take a look at the lower thirds here, when you add a lower third, let's just say I add a lower third here, and the lower third looks something, it animates in like that. Right? When you want to work on the lower third, you just double click on it, and you can change your text over here. And you can also change the timing of it over here in terms of how fast it comes off the screen. So here it comes on, and then it goes off based upon this little marker here. So you can change the marker to let it stay on longer or shorter. Okay, there's that. All right, now I want to show you the Weather Studio. This is a bonus feature that comes with this package. Go to Open Project, go to Weather Forecast, open that up. I'm going to get that message this time because it's not inside another project. Click OK. All right, and this time hopefully it shows up. There we go. Don't know why it didn't last time. Shift / to see all of it. And the way this works is you pick which one you want, 7, 5, or 3, and it's just by choosing which one you make visible. If I make the one below that visible, it won't work because the one on top covers it, but I turn that off and then you've got a 5-day forecast or a 3-day forecast like that. So go to the 7-day forecast like so. Then you want to adjust the little icons here, and you can also adjust the colors. You can change the color for the weekdays and change the color for the weekends. So I'll go to U Change to do that. There's a global control. The global control deals with the color and the logo. So I click on the color, I go to Effect Controls. If I put my current time indicator here someplace, you'll see the global control. And I can change the color for the weekdays. It says global color, but it means all the weekdays. Click on that. If I change that to, let's say, blue instead. There you go. And if I want to change the weekends to some other color, I click on that and make weekends green. Not necessarily, but something like that. You can do this global color changes. Probably don't want blue against the blue sky, but that's a way to do it. I'll undo that. Actually, I'll undo my work here. Control Z, go back to the default ones. And the logo control controls the logo up here. You can have a rectangular logo or a circular logo. So I'm going to check this checkbox, and that means it's going to be a circular logo. So change it to or a square logo. It puts it in the corner like that instead of along as a rectangle. Go back to the main here. Go back to the things that I change. If I want to change the days, if I change the days, I click on the, let's say Friday, then that's the Friday thing. And right now you see that all the possibilities are there. So if I want the icon to not be rainy, if I want it to be sunny, I just click on the sun and then turn off the rain. Wouldn't that be nice? Or vice versa. And that will change it. If I want to change the temperature, I just double click on this to change it from something like 94 to something more pleasant like 81. And then the low, I just double click on this one and change that, let's say, to 66 or something. And that's how you change that. You don't need to change the day of the week because that's always going to be the same. All right, close that down. So I can do that each day at a time. If I double click on the 7-day forecast, then this determines which day of the week I start with. Right now I'm starting on Monday. If I go down here and click on Saturday and turn off Monday, then this thing rearranges such that Saturday is the first day, which is pretty slick, I think. And these little icons are all animated. If I go through here slowly, you'll see that the sun spins around and the lightning flashes and the rain falls. So it's a pretty cool little thing. And let me think. Let me talk about the logos. The logo process applies for both this and the Virtual Studio. Double click on that. If I want to put a rectangular logo there, I'm going to import a rectangular logo. Double click over here. Got a couple logos that we loaded up for the class today. There's a rectangular logo and a rounded logo. Import them. take the rectangular logo and put it here and turn off the text. And obviously it's too big, so I go get my selection tool and drag it in by holding on the shift key as I drag to constrain the proportions like that. Alright, if I go back to the 7-day forecast, because it's a square logo, I need to change that by going to the global control, logo control, effect controls, turn off the checkbox, go back to the main, and that logo will show up now. If I want the circular logo to, or the square logo, depending, to appear over there, I go to the logo rectangular. I go to the logo square, double click on that. I want to put my so-called square logo, which can also be circular. I'm going to put that one there, so I've got this logo there. I drag that down on top of that text layer, turn off the text layer. And actually that's already about the right size. I can maybe expand a little bit, but it's about the right size there. Go back to global control. Global control sounds very powerful. Turn on the checkbox for the square one. Go back to the main, and now that logo shows up in the corner in that square box, even though it's a round logo, which is fine. So that's all the stuff you get when you get the Virtual News Studio 4. You get all those sets. I can try to load it up again. Let's see if it cooperates here. Let me go try to load up a project here. We'll see if we can do that without causing this undue stress here. Go to the desktop, go to the News Studio, go to you, and let's see if it opens up without causing too many problems. So you get all those various sets. You get the full screen set with a great News Studio behind you that you can actually control the colors on to some degree. And you get the over-the-shoulder shot with the screen. You get the two-person shot. Let's take a look inside here. So you get this view here. Let's see. It's taking its time loading up again, just as it did before, so I'm going to close it down. Don't know why it's so slow right now, probably because so many things are loading up. This is a very big, this Virtual Studio's got a lot of pre-comp, so just a little bit slow to load up. So if I go over here instead, let's see if we can do that instead. No, it's very slow to load up here. I guess it's because I got two things going at once. Sorry about that, folks. But anyway, I think you remember what it looked like. And you got all those various sets, plus you got all those animated logos, plus you've got transitions. There, it's beginning to show up there now, finally. Very good. So you got these various different sets. You got the logos, you've got the transitions, and you've got the lower thirds. It's this really remarkable package that if you just shoot folks on a green screen, you can insert them into the set, and it looks really professional.
As a bonus, when you buy this package today, we'll include a weather forecast room. We'll also include training on how to quickly edit a green screen, along with green screen reporter footage, and a selection of stock videos you can use. So go ahead, get the BlueFX Virtual News 4 package right now to create great looking videos in your own Virtual News Studio.